Hello, welcome to our other training. We are still continuing on the Zoom training on how to teach effectively using Zoom. So the previous training session, we looked at how do you teach content that primarily has notes. So today we want to look at how do you teach content primarily for math. And it's a bit different because math has symbols. So let me share with you my whiteboard. So here we have my whiteboard. The whiteboard is pretty big. Always expand it so that it fills your whole screen. Maximize it. Once you have, for math, maybe you can divide it into, let's divide it into two because math has a lot of things. So three might be too small. So once you've divided into two, then we can write, let's say we are teaching math, maybe angles and plane figures. So let me make my heading a bit bright. So that it's also different from the colors I use. So they have my heading. So before you teach math, the first thing I'll talk about is symbols, because most of the symbols that we have are limited on the keyboard, and on Zoom you cannot put a symbol that is not on your keyboard unless your keyboard has a certain symbol, and there's some people whose their laptops have certain symbols that they can be able to insert. For us, we cannot be able to do so. So if you want to insert a symbol, you have to improvise most of the time. And a good one is maybe you're calculating areas of a circle, and every time you deal with a circle, it is inevitable that you'll find pi somewhere. So how do you show pi when you're using pi in a calculation? So a good example is you can say P and I to represent pi, or if you're a bit innovative, maybe you can use two capital T's. It also looks like a pi. When you're using angles, and you want to show alpha, beta, theta, what do you use? I prefer just to use the normal English alphabet because you don't have those other common ones, those Greek alphabets on your keyboard, unless you do. But if your keyboard cannot, then just use A for alpha, B for beta, T for theta, and many other things that you would want to show. Another one, apart from angles, common one is maybe surds, and you'll interact with square roots. So for square roots, how do you show it? There are people whose laptop, others, they can be able to, they have a square root on it. Mine doesn't. So for me, I practically just use this slash to show square. So that is root 5, or I can say root 4, or I can say root 3. So it all depends with what you want to do. Another one is powers or indices, powers or indices, maybe. And I just simply say 7 to power 2. So you just use that number 1, or 8 to power 3. So that one you can find. These are things that you can be able to find on your laptop. Another one is fractions. Fractions. So these are common things that you'll interact with. So for example, 2/3, I can write it that way, or I can write at first 2, skip, then space, until I reach there. And then on that bottom line, I can be able to write 3, and then I can be able to draw a line, a small line on top there to be able to do that. So that's another way of writing fractions. And matrices, so maybe I want to write 2, 3, then I'll have to come down here, maybe write 4, 5, and that's one of the matrices. So I forgot to maybe put, then from there I can be able to just go to draw, take the scribble button, and with the scribbler, So let me first change the color of everything over there. So let me say I can have all of it brown. So if I come to scribble and make sure that it's brown, I can also be able to just show that and be able to do that here. So that's one way of writing matrices, or I can be able to go to the straight lines. They don't have to be perfect, everything. And I can put it that way and then draw another straight line there to represent a matrix. So there are very many ways of trying to work out, and it's just a matter of practicing, trying to teach whatever you're going to teach the student beforehand on the whiteboard, and making sure that you can be able to represent it well. So that's what I will say. The main issue is normally the symbols, but once you have sorted out the symbols, I think then you're good to go. So maybe I can give an example, and then with that, leave you to just practice, and then you can be able to ask in case you find any difficulty or something that was too difficult for you to solve. So I can say the top of a window is maybe let's say 45 degrees. So another one is degrees. You see, I don't have degrees, so I can just write DG. Not the top, I can say the angle of elevation, because I'm actually guessing this question. The angle of elevation of the top of a window is 45 degrees, and the angle of elevation of the top is 45, and of the bottom the window is 35 degrees. So that can be a question. Now, the angle of elevation of the top of a window is 45 degrees, and the bottom of a window is 35 degrees. From a man who is 1 meter tall and or 1.5 meters tall and is standing let's say 20 meters away from the house. So the question is, how tall is the window? Yep, so that can be a question that you want to solve, or you're taking a student through. So once you have done that, the next thing is to always be able to draw and show the student whatever you're talking about. So I'll be able to make a sketch over here. I can be able to erase my drawings on this side, so that I can be left with that space for working out. So if I say that that's the ground level, and I have the man okay, the man is here, so that can be the man. Then I can have that as the house. Then I need to have a window. Then I can have the window over there. I can draw lines. So I picked a complicated question because most questions in math are not very easy. So let me make my lines yellow. So that gives me the angle of elevation and the other one, the angle of elevation to the top of the window. And the best thing is we have a few distances known. We know that from there to there, it's known. From here to here. There's a way of making these things not as big as they are. I'll look into it. So that is known. And what I need to find out, of course, first will be to find out that length. Then after I found out that length, I can be able to sufficiently find the unknown. So let me mark the dimensions with maybe something red. So I can say that to be X centimeter. Then I can make the text box slightly small. So then I can call that H meters. Even the one on top, it should have been in meters because everything is in meters. Then I can come and right over there we have 20 meters. The man is standing 20 meters away from the Nini. And over here we have his 1.5 meters. And it's X that you're looking for. And we have a few things. We know that there it's 35 degrees. And the other one for this part. So 35 is for that small place. So I can put it over there. Then I can have for the bigger one, which is from there to there. And that one I have as 45 degrees. So with that, I can be able to work it out. At least one thing I do know is I can say, when I'm working it out over here, let me use Nini, I can say that tan 35 equals to opposite H over adjacent, which is 20 meters. So that one will tell me that H will be equivalent to 20 multiplied by tan 35, 20 multiplied by, or 20 tan 35, and it's in meters. So once I've found the tan for 35, I can do the other one for tan 45. Tan 45 will be equals to H plus X divided by 20. And everything is in meters. So there's no need for me to write meters. Let me just get rid of the meters I wrote over here. Yeah, so that one, if I cross multiply, I'll find that X plus H plus X equals to 20 tan 45. So now once you have that, we can replace where H is with 20 tan 35. So we can say where H is, we can put, because H equals to 20 tan 35. So we can say 20 tan 35 plus X equals to 20 tan 45. So with that, I can be able to find that my X will simply be 20 tan 45 minus 20 tan 35. And if you have your calculator, you can be able to work that one out and find your answer. So basically, that's how you do it. Maybe let me say I can use a different color for the answer. So that's how you do it, and then you're able to get your answer. And once you have your answer, you can be able now to ask the student whether they have understood. If not, you can be able to explain where they have not. But for math, the main thing is make sure you look at your keyboard, make sure that the symbols you want to use, you can be able to find them. If not, make sure you know what you will use to represent those symbols, because the best thing about symbols are for representation. So you don't have to use the exact symbols, though it's very important to use the exact symbols. That is why some of the time we prepare the notes we can prepare the notes on Word or on PDF, so that if you say if you see that you'll be deviating so much from the actual symbol, once you have used other symbols, you can go back to the notes and show the student what you actually meant. But it is always okay, it is always advisable that everything you teach it live. Don't use recorded notes. Always work out the question when the student is seeing how you're calculating, like what I'm doing, and then you can be able to do other things. So that will be my advice, and this is how you teach math. So practice, and then you can be able to learn more. And one thing I always say is that skill is different from knowledge. Skill is made better by practice. Knowledge, you acquire knowledge through reading, but it's only practice that makes you gain the skill. So even whatever I've taught you today, and for the past time that you've been looking at the series, can only be made better by you now practicing. So I implore you, go and practice, and then once you've been able to harness the skill, you can be able to go to the next level. So try teaching your student, try teaching yourself, try teaching a lesson by yourself on Zoom, and then share with us how it all goes. So thank you very much. I'll see you for the next training, and we're excited to be working with you.